pillowcases, not clean, then you will have acne on one side of the face. Dandruff, again because it flakes off, so you may have the fungal acne around your forehead. It's a very small tiny bump.
What is the solution towards cleaning your skin?
Yes, lifestyle aside, your gut health, eat right, eat a lot of colors, antioxidant rich foods, sleep properly, follow your circadian rhythm. When we say we are sleeping 8 hours, but then again if you're waking up like 2 to 3 times, that's not something that's a healthy sleep cycle.
For someone who say has used sunscreen every single day for many years versus someone who doesn't, will they see a massive difference in their skin when they approach their 40s or 50s?
Someone who's been using sunscreen versus someone who's not been using sunscreen, if we take the age range 60s, after the 60s, deeper wrinkles, deeper fine lines.
Korean glass skin is trending. Everybody wants it. Is it really achievable for Indian skin?
Harsh truth, but no.
Your skin can tell you exactly what's wrong with you internally, but only if you know how to identify it. But the thing is, more often than not, we ignore it. On today's podcast, we have Dr. Ariba, and we are going to talk about the real science behind skin, why we get acne, how we can solve it, procedures like Botox, fillers, dark circles, sunscreen, and literally everything you need to know about your skin. I really want you to rate my skin actually. Now that I'm talking to a dermat, I want to know what's wrong with my skin. I want you to rate it for me.
Skin health, basically how we rate it on a lot of factors like pigmentation, like redness, rosacea, texture, open pores. So if I rate on a scale of 1 to 10, it is around 6.
6? Oh my god, okay. Maybe I think if we would meet, say, in like September, October, I'm sure the rating would be higher. I'll tell you why. Because very randomly, very abruptly, ever since October, I started getting a little bit of acne. Now it's gone down, but there was one pimple. I thought it'll go away. There were 2, there were 3, 4, 5, and then I just randomly started getting adult acne. And I never had acne all my life because my genetics are pretty good. No one in my family has acne, and so it was scary for me to get acne randomly at 22, and that's why I want to understand a little bit more about acne, that why do we get it, especially adult acne, because it can be scary for so many people.
Yeah, so we as adults really don't give it importance. As you said, this is a perfect example with patients coming at my clinic as well, that they have one acne, then they wait, okay, it might go, then they have 2. But it's all about your lifestyle. Definitely something related to the stress, something in your gut that's not working, some new product which is called contact dermatitis that you might have used, which is again reacting. So there are a lot of factors when we say about acne. Coming towards different types of acne, that is again related to the cause, is we have inflammatory acne. Any form of inflammation inside your system can cause acne. That is inflammatory acne. Then acne that is hormonal, that you see especially around the jawline and the chin. PCOS related acne, that's again hormonal. Post-pregnancy acne, all these are forms of adult acne and they need to be taken seriously. It's not like you have to wait after 3, 4, 5, because then what happens, you land into PIH, which is post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. And then that is very difficult to treat because one, we are dealing on an acne prone skin type, and then the hyperpigmentation. So we have to go one by one. First we need to correct the skin health and then the pigmentation.
And what you said was so interesting that a lot of people end up ignoring it.
Correct.
Because you're like, okay, it's just skin, it's fine. You don't realize that maybe what's wrong with the skin might be a sign that there is something wrong internally.
All your systems. So see, having said that, skin is the largest organ of your body. Anything wrong in the body, which is again related to your lifestyle, will first show up on your skin. That, as I told you, bad gut health, stress, sleep cycle, a lot of caffeine, high protein intake, all of these are again aggravative factors for acne.
You mentioned caffeine. I love coffee. I want to know, is coffee bad for your skin?
So in moderation, no. But I would never recommend anyone to have coffee empty stomach, because the first thing that you have in the morning is caffeine. You are lining your gut with caffeine, which is again very bad. You can land up into anxiety issues because of having such bad habits in terms of gut health. Because see, I'll tell you what I do in terms of a very personal habit that I've been following before pregnancy as well. My nutritionist has suggested have 1 spoon of ghee in the morning,
Okay.
because it acts as a barrier. So whatever you eat in the day, that barrier acts as a protective layer inside your gut. So it will not affect as much as it should.
Okay.
But if you're having caffeine, number one, a lot of caffeine might dehydrate you, and it is a bad lining for your gut. So no caffeine to empty stomach.
And that can also then cause acne if you have it on an empty stomach.
Yes, yes, yes. Do you see the texture, especially around your T-zone, where your sebaceous glands are very active? Sebaceous glands are the glands that produce sebum, because of which you have blackheads and whiteheads. So if you see around your T-zone, because the glands are really active, the pores are open.
Okay.
Yes, so these are the textured skin around the T-zone, the open pores. So when we talk about acne, I'll correlate with that. We have open and closed comedones. That's a very basic form of acne.
Okay.
Okay. Once sebaceous activity increases, it's white in color, which you call whitehead. But once it's come off, the oxidative stress, again, because of some form of heat, by oxidation, it becomes black in color. So these are whiteheads and blackheads again. Like how a lot of people go into parlors and they are used to getting those removed.
They remove the blackheads.
That's a very bad habit, because I'll tell you, they use a lot of pressure. If you've experienced it ever,
Yes,
they
I have
use
done it.
A lot of pressure removing it, and it causes permanent damage to your skin. You can lead to melanosis, which is hyperpigmentation, because a lot of pressure is applied, and because of that, the melanin production increases around that area. So not good for long-term health. And then after that, you have to do treatments and treatments, because nothing really works for open pores. These are very natural to have, especially in Indian skin. But yes, again, you can shrink them to have a healthier skin.
So what do we really do to shrink these open pores? Because you said it's normal for Indian skin.
It's very normal. Open pores, all of us have. It is not a problem. It is not a condition like acne that you need to treat it.
Okay.
But since all of us really want healthier skin, better texture. So coming back to skincare, in terms of skincare, you can use retinoids, which will really help with skin tightening, open pores. So because it increases collagen production and tightening, technically it helps in open pores.
Yeah.
When it comes to treatment, very good treatment that I really love in clinic treatment is face PRP microneedling. It creates like micro injuries on top of the skin, on the epidermal layer, and because of the micro injuries, what it does is your skin gets a signal to produce more collagen.
Okay.
Yeah, and once you're done with one microneedling session, you will see after 3 to 4 days, once the healing has happened, you have better texture. And also, it's not a one-time thing. Your skin is different than mine. If I need a session, maybe you need 3.
Correct.
So it's a process.
I've heard about this microneedling, in fact, from a lot of celebrities, especially in the West. I think Kendall Jenner was mentioning that she gets this microneedling PRP thing.
PRPs recently mentioned exosomes as well.
So a lot of people do that for healthier skin, so that the skin is clear.
Yes. As I explained the science about microneedling, so it's also what base are you using in terms of pen. So microneedling is a procedure. We can use PRP, we can use exosomes, we can use PDRN, GFCs. All of these are different channels to penetrate inside your skin. They are messengers that will give your skin a signal to act accordingly. So PDRNs recently we've been using at our clinic, people who have hyperpigmentation, uneven skin tone, long-seated pigmentation, very good results.
But the thing is, a lot of people, and even I, would be very scared to experiment with something like this on my skin, right? Because you don't know how it'll react with your skin.
So I will take you through the contraindications that on what skin I do not touch any form of needling treatments. Number 1 is acne. If your skin is acne prone, if your skin has rosacea, if your skin has nodular acne, I will not touch microneedling at all. Because the bacterial inflammation is already going on the top layer of your skin. If I do microneedling, that bacteria might spread from one place to another. Otherwise, it's a very, very safe. It's the first great treatment that you can start with, because there are a lot of treatments ahead.
Microneedling is basically they take your own blood and separate the thing.
No. So
Because I've heard of that
that's
also.
PRP.
That's PRP.
Yeah, that's
okay.
PRP. Microneedling is a procedure. But PRP is something that you can do microneedling with.
Oh.
PRP is basically platelet-rich plasma. You take 3-4 ml of your blood if you're doing for your face. We centrifuge it. Whatever plasma comes out, it has growth factors in it. You just apply the plasma on your face and then you infuse it through the microneedling technique.
Again, I wanted to talk more about acne since we touched upon that earlier, because I want to know the solution for it, the cure for it. It's a very personal question.
Yeah.
But like, for example, I mostly had acne around this area, a little bit here as well, right? So does that say something about what is wrong internally, like the placement of your acne? Does it tell you what's wrong internally?
The only area that is really related to the acne around the jawline, as I told you earlier, if you have hormonal acne, anything related to PCOS, post-pregnancy, progesterone, estrogen, then you can have acne around the jawline.
Okay.
But a few factors, like for example, your phone cover, not clean, then you have acne around the temples. Pillowcases, not clean, then you will have acne on one side of the face. Dandruff, again, because it flakes off, so you may have the fungal acne around your forehead. It's a very small, tiny bumps.
Okay.
These are factors that lead to acne, causative factors, but there's no facial mapping as such.
The one thing that anyone with acne wants to know is that what is the solution to cure acne?
Okay, 3 things. Number 1, I'll say till the end that lifestyle is very, very important. Being a doctor, I know I'll tell you 10,000 treatment that do this, do that, but that is not how it's done. 30% of the job is mine, which is again through topical ointments, through antibiotics, through gut helping. Otherwise, 60% of the job is yours. If I'm doing my bit, you have to do your 60% of the bit. Number 2 is identifying the cause. What is leading you to acne? If you, as a teen, you're saying, yes, that's very much to do with your hormones, your sleep cycle, your cortisol levels, because I'll tell you these days, stress and cortisol levels basically are an indicator for your stress.
Okay.
So sometimes if you feel anxiety or you feel that your concentration slab is not as it was before, check your cortisols.
Okay.
Cortisols will always tell you what's going on here, and it's related to the body. Okay, so that is one thing that we've recently come up with. Again, vitamin D deficiency. Teenage vitamin D deficiency is actually, they have not come up with the science behind it, but we always, as doctors, we check vitamin D. And if there is deficiency, so 40 is something that's the usual level that should be. And people to me recently, day before yesterday, there was a girl who's telling me, doctor, I'm not feeling active. I'm feeling like I just don't want to do anything.
Low on energy.
Low on energy, getting a lot of anxiety, and there's no reason to it. There's nothing in my life that's going wrong. Vitamin D levels 4. 40 versus 4.
That's huge.
So that is it. Then your zinc, your B12, sometimes randomly people come and tell me, doctor, let's take a B12 shot, because I think my hair health, they've read somewhere on social media that B12 has a lot to do with your hair, but that's not how it's done. Anything and everything on social media, especially for teenagers, you should not follow every trend that's going on. Coming back towards what you can do for your acne, yes, lifestyle aside, your gut health, eat right, eat a lot of colors, antioxidant rich foods, sleep properly, follow your circadian rhythm. When we say we are sleeping 8 hours, but then again, if you're waking up like 2 to 3 times, that's not something that's a healthy sleep cycle.
Correct.
Right?
Yes, right.
So that is very important. Again, we are living in a caffeine age, as me and you said initially.
It's a big trend
It's a
also.
big
Going
trend.
for coffee.
Yeah, going for coffee,
Yeah.
hangout, all of that. That's something that needs to be controlled. Again, exercise, very, very important. Even if you're walking like maybe 30 minutes a day, that's gonna make a huge difference. I always focus on yoga. I myself have been practicing it since past 5-6 years, and that's really changed a lot to do with my skin also, apart from the well-being.
True.
So yeah, all of these things that we really ignore, these are very basic things. I will not tell you about the cleans.
Actually, yes.
Yeah, but these things we tend to ignore, and
Yeah.
then they, later come up on your skin.
These are actually such basic, normal, day-to-day things. I know you being a doctor can say, okay, get this treatment done, get that done, but you are actually telling the audience what they know but are actually ignoring. Our skin is maybe a result of all the daily normal things that we are ignoring,
Yes.
right?
Sorry to cut you off. 2 examples I would like
Yeah,
to
yeah,
address
yeah.
at
Of
my
course.
clinic. A bride coming 50 days to the marriage.
Huh.
Doctor, I have only 50 days. I have nodular cystic acne. Please get me like a clear skin in 15 days. The only thing I can say is no, that's not how it works. If something has taken around a month to form on the deep layers of your skin,
Yeah.
I cannot get it back to how it was in 15 days. There is a process, there is inflammation, then after there is pigmentation, your stratum corneum is disrupted, your barrier is compromised. I cannot heal everything in 15 days.
Yeah.
So that is something that people don't understand. They think that, okay, 7 days, okay, I'll apply a pimple patch. Pimple patches, I'll help you with the concept of pimple
Yeah.
patches. They only help with, okay, your acne is covered, so it is not getting affected by the external bacteria, by the constant
Okay.
picking and touching.
And the dust also, maybe.
And it does.
Huh.
But it has nothing to do with curing acne. It's not like one size fits all. As I told you about the
Yeah.
types of acne, do you think a pimple patch can really identify what kind of acne it is?
No.
So that's a very big trend that's going on these days, that okay, whatever acne is happening, just apply a pimple patch.
There are so many products available in the market. It's so confusing. I often wonder which face wash to buy, which moisturizer to buy. And for acne specifically, are there different kinds of products that we can use very specifically, different brands?
Let's build a routine, a very basic routine for acne that will help with all of these concerns.
Yes.
Coming back to, we Indians are getting it wrong with the cleansers. Okay, so acne cleansers are not supposed to be drying at all. Okay, and night cleansers should always be different from the morning cleansers.
So cleanser is like
Yeah.
the face wash.
Face wash. Okay, so night should be clarifying cleanser, morning should always be hydrating. Reason being,
Oh.
the entire night our skin goes through a cycle where we produce oil, which is a good oil for the skin. It helps protect the barrier. Morning, it should not be stripped off. So morning, always, irrespective of acne, no acne, I sometimes do not even use a cleanser in the morning. Just water wash it.
Oh.
Unless and until I've done like heavy skincare, there's no retinoid on my face, you just do water wash. It will be a game changer for the skincare. So night clarifying cleanser, morning hydrating cleansers,
Okay.
right? And then let's build the morning routine first. So you can, if you have like nodular acne or too pus-filled acne, you can avoid moisturizers in the morning, which is fine, but it might feel a lot heavy on the skin.
Yeah.
Directly you can skip to sunscreen, or if you have time, one thing that you can add in your routine is a niacinamide serum. Any good, I'll help you with the brands. Niacinamide has an amazing niacinamide serum. Then I love the one from the Glow Recipe. Very good. If you apply the Glow Recipe niacinamide, you don't have to apply a moisturizer.
Okay.
Yeah, it's that good. And then you can directly come up to the sunscreen. Sunscreens again, Heliocare is one of my favorite brands. You will see at the shelves of my clinic. That is one brand. Why I love it? Because it has a lot of range in terms of sunscreen. You have it gel based, you have it for people with melasma, you have it for pigmentation, you have a little thicker, you have it for people who are pregnant and can't use any chemical based sunscreen. So they have mineral sunscreens also. And of course, recently a lot happened with the sunscreen, especially in the Indian market, that they don't have licensing.
Oh.
Yeah, so a lot of sunscreens got flagged because they were buying certificates for the approval.
Okay.
Yeah, so for now, I think Heliocare is a safe bet and a good sunscreen.
And what's a good face wash for acne?
Go for CeraVe. Again, I prefer brands that have variations, so I don't have to switch between brands. So if I'm using CeraVe, I'm using for acne prone skin, use the smoothing or the foaming cleanser. If the skin is too dry because you're using a lot of salicylic acid based products for the acne, use foaming cleanser at night, hydrating in the morning. Gentle skin cleanser by Cetaphil. That's also very nice. You can use the Bioderma CBM Hydro.
Yeah.
So Bioderma CBM, I use it for people who are on peels, who are doing chemical peels. And I want their barrier to be protected, the skin barrier to be protected. Give them a hydrating cleanser for both morning and evening routine.
What I'm very interested in about sunscreen is that since obviously I'm in my early 20s, I use it, so I don't know the difference. But for someone who say has used sunscreen every single day for many, many years versus someone who doesn't, will they see a massive difference in their skin when they approach their 40s or 50s?
Yes. So 60s. Okay, so here a lot of people come like, my mom never used sunscreen, but her skin is still fine. This is something that I really deal with on a day-to-day basis. At that time, the food was good. The sun rays were not as harsh as we are dealing with right now. Right? Glaciers are just melting. And right now, if you see, we are still in March and the heat outside.
It's very bad.
Yes. Yeah. So at that time, everything was different. So for now, my baby is 9 months and she's using a sunscreen.
Is it healthy?
Yes. So they have baby approved products as well. I use it from Marcella. It's an international brand. Good products. Okay. The earlier, the better. If you not use it after the 60s, deeper wrinkles, deeper fine lines, someone who's been using sunscreen versus someone who's not been using sunscreen, if we take the age range 60s, the person who's been using sunscreen might not need any form of Botox or, fillers. Yes, of course, it's a personal choice, but till 40s, they'll be good. Someone who's not, 30s is somewhere they will start seeing premature aging is the term. When you say premature aging, what can happen is fine lines, especially around your periocular area, which we call crow's feet, happens. Then you have jowls formation again above 45-50. This area sags, it comes down. So sunlight, no, but sunscreen is something that is one step. If I say don't apply moisturizer, don't apply a serum, but sunscreen is non-negotiable. That is something that you should apply irrespective of how much you crib about skincare.
And the thing is, what happens is that I feel that a lot of the sunscreen brands, if they are affordable, they may not be as good, but if they are good, they are not affordable. I want you to tell me, say, top 3 brands. You mentioned one, but top 3 brands that are affordable as well as really good for sunscreen.
Okay, so when we say affordable, yes, I'll explain you the science behind it, then I'll definitely give you the better examples. So when we say affordable, a sunscreen say worth 500 rupees versus a sunscreen worth 2500 rupees. Just check the ingredients, some sunscreens are really good, worth 500 also. But most of them, when we see the ingredient list, of course, these people have spent a lot of money on researching on the formulation of the products and on when we say that, okay, this product is for all skin types. So safer. Okay? But affordable, there are very few options. So you have to be very cautious. You just don't have to do trial and error on your skin. I'll give you 3 names. Acne UV from Ipca, very good sunscreen. You can use it, same range around 600, 500. Okay. Then Aqualogica is a sunscreen. It again has ranges, very good brand. Then you can use sunscreens from Babe, very good brand again. So these are some sunscreens that you can trust on
and they are affordable as well.
Affordable as well, yes.
And what about these Korean brands, Korean sunscreens and this glass skin? So the Korean glass skin is trending. Everybody wants it. Is it really achievable for Indian skin?
Harsh truth, but no. So, Koreans, different genes. Ethnicity is completely different. Right? So, they've been having this skin for years and years now. What if you say, okay, define Korean skin for you. What is Korean skin for you?
It's like glass skin. Like they don't have any pores. It's it's literally like glass. No pores, no open pores, no blackheads, nothing.
No, you can't have that. Honestly.
You can't?
Yeah, you cannot have it. Indian skin, healthier skin. I'll tell you how you can have healthier skin, not Korean skin. Shrinked pores, okay? No pigmentation. I don't think so. I have ever seen a patient who does not have pigmentation at all. There's some form of pigmentation going in the background somewhere or the other. But yes, the less, the better.
Yeah.
Okay. Then us, because of the lifestyle, we have a lot of dark circles. That is something I think 90% of the people are facing.
Yes.
Right? Dark circles. Then again, the texture of your skin. When I say the texture means the small little bumps on your skin, congestion on your skin.
Okay.
So better that you can have. That is the definition of healthier skin. But Korean, if you say no, okay, no pores, it's like glass. No, it's not achievable here.
No. So
Yeah, if achievable, then it's your genetics. Nothing to do with any skincare. Yeah.
Yeah, because so many people in the market are selling Korean products for Indian skin, saying that we can achieve that, and people fall for it and do it, and it doesn't work, right?
I will give you an example. Day before yesterday, I was just watching this one very good brand of hair serum, and this got some Korean girl just in the ad. And for the sake of marketing, it's nothing to do with the hair growth.
I think I know what you're talking about. I've seen this ad.
So have your skincare routine right. It can be as basic as cleanse, moisturize, sunscreen. Evening, use a target-based serum. If you have hyperpigmentation, use ingredients like azelaic acid, kojic acid, or alpha-arbutin. These are very good ingredients for hyperpigmentation.
Okay.
Post-inflammatory or initial stages of melasma. Okay. Then you can use a good moisturizer. Always opt for thicker moisturizers at night and lighter moisturizers in the morning.
Can you give brands for each?
Yeah, so thicker moisturizer, I love Hyal Ceutiq. Hyal Ceutiq is one moisturizer that works on all skin types.
Okay.
Morning, use a gel-based moisturizer. Clinique has come up with a very good gel moisturizer.
I use it,
So
yes.
that moisturizer I really love. Neutrogena has also a good gel-based moisturizer. So these two moisturizers I really love with gel-based versus nighter, always a thicker moisturizer. I'll tell you, even if you don't have acne, prefer an anti-inflammatory diet.
Okay.
Even if your skin is acne prone, right now no acne, but this will prevent you from the persistence of acne.
Yeah.
Right? Inflammation, very important. Again, gut lining, start with pre and probiotics. There's good and bad bacteria in your gut that helps fight against the defense mechanism.
Okay.
So if you're using anything wrong, or a lot of preservatives are being, used outside, if you're using all of those products, it cuts down. Not that you should eat it and then again take pre and probiotics.
Yeah.
Of course, those things you should avoid. But supplements are again a very important factor.
So inflammation internally, which can cause breakouts in the skin.
Yes.
What is that?
So inflammation basically is how your microbiome inside the gut is. Inflammation can be caused by the diet. Inflammation can be caused, for example, I have some other disease and I'm taking antibiotics for that. I'm taking any other medication for that. That can also create inflammation inside your body.
Okay.
Yes. Stress can create inflammation. Increased cortisol levels can create inflammation inside your body. So that's why we say a lot has been going wrong inside your body since days and months. So you should, as soon as it comes up on your face, you should immediately go to a doctor, because that's a process that's been going wrong inside your body with the system. One important point I want to make, all of the people who are using Isotroin. Isotroin is basically a very important medication that we give for acne. I give you Isotroin for 3 months, say 10 mg. 3 months means 3 months. What people are coming up with, okay, doctor has given Isotroin for 3 months. Now that again after 6 months I'm having acne, I'll just pop a pill and maybe a month course I'll do it. That is self-prescribed and acne goes. But that's not how it works. Isotroin is a serious medication that should not be taken without the guidance of a doctor.
Okay.
And I've been seeing it because that's a very common, prescription that all of us give, but the concentration has to do with your acne. The duration of the prescription has to do a lot with your acne.
I was talking to a dietitian last month, and she was talking about the gut and how when the gut is not clean, eventually after some time that will come out from your skin with breakouts, with acne. So how is the gut and skin really connected in that sense?
Again, gut, skin, inflammation, everything follows. For example, I'm eating a lot of food that has preservatives in it. Now, what preservatives do? Creates in some product which has been stored for months and months. It goes inside your body, breaks down all the chemical bonds, affects your gut lining, and sometimes it is a very permanent damage to your system that now we are ignoring. ठीक है, something that we can make in 10 minutes, let's just frozen foods. The worst kind of food that you can have is the frozen things. That is affecting your system badly. And right now you're not seeing the results of it. The outcome of it starts after 3 months, after 4 months, after 6 months. So that is how inflammation, as I told you, gut health. The first thing, the question I asked in my clinic is, okay, how's your diet like? What's your morning routine like? Have you switched from coffee to tea? This is as basic as we go. Change in your diet can trigger your acne. It can be as basic as switching from tea to coffee.
So that switch can cause acne?
Yes. So my gut, as we say, skin, my gut is not same as yours. For example, you've born in a Punjabi family having paneer for years and years and years. Okay, but paneer is not for my gut. As soon as I have it, I get acne because of dairy. Dairy and sugar are a big no for acne prone skin. Sugar any which ways, because it causes inflammation, it increases your insulin spikes. Dairy, any form of dairy, that can be paneer, that can be, okay, so people say, okay, doctor, can I take almond milk? Can I take soy milk? No. Yeah. That is also spiking up the bad levels. Okay. So no dairy, no sugar. If you have acne, avoid both of these things. Okay. Then one biggest trend that people were doing, and which was causing inflammation again, reacting to the body, was applying toothpaste initially.
I have done that.
Yeah, applying toothpaste on the acne.
Yes, because that was a huge trend on Instagram and YouTube.
Yeah.
So when I got a big pimple, I used to put like toothpaste on top, and it would actually work. The next day, it was a little less.
It burns.
Yeah.
That's the science behind it. Toothpaste is not for acne. Haldi, everything in your kitchen is not to be supposed to be applied on your face.
It's not? So
Yes.
haldi and curd is not supposed to be applied on your face?
No. Also, this is only because of acne. Rest, a few products I really like that you can have for detan and all of that. But DIYs, 5% only work with all of these trends in the market. That is just 5%. But no lemon, no toothpaste on acne. This is not something that is approved by us.
What DIY home remedies really work for your skin then?
So as you said, curd is something because it has bacterias, right? It is made by keeping for a prolonged period of time.
Correct, yes.
So applying curd on your face, it helps sometimes detan, it helps refining the skin texture. Curd is fine. Milk with a pinch of haldi, it really works for detan, but that's raw milk. Raw milk with just a pinch of haldi, very good anti-inflammatory, not for acne prone skin.
Okay.
No DIYs for acne prone skin. There's nothing. I'll tell you a very funny example. There was a patient of mine, guy, 28, 29 years old. This is last year. So he came to my operatory saying, doctor, I've been facing so and so issue, and can you please prescribe something good which works faster? So I told him, okay, this is a long steady condition, and I'll prescribe you something that will help, but I cannot guarantee you that this will help in a
short period of time.
What he did was, so I prescribed once at night a specific cream.
Yes.
He thought in his head that if he will apply that cream 4 times, 5 times a day, he will see faster. 28-year-old man, he was applying it 8 times a day just so that whatever the condition was will be healed fast. There's one Lokhandwala scam that I talk about everywhere. There is this cream that they sell in a lot of clinics also. So it has no name to it.
Okay.
And they just put the product inside and they say, okay, this will help in skin whitening. And it has serious steroids. Yes, it helps. How it helps it? It will thin your skin.
Okay.
And when your skin becomes thin, it will remove the melanin from that. And if you use it for more than a year or so, I used to touch that person's skin and you could literally feel the bone. I cannot explain the severity of the condition that people have been coming to me after using that particular cream, because it was everywhere in Lokhandwala. I don't know, people are aware now of course, but I don't know if it's still there. But it used to cause melasma, it used to cause pigmentation, premature aging. People used to have, for example, you come up with your, like how you also know, doctor, I'm really now fed up of this acne, I want some remedy for it. So when I'm coming from that mindset that I need faster result, this is my insecurity, that I'm speaking to you one-on-one. If I take advantage of that and prescribe something that will give you faster results but long term is affecting and damaging your skin badly, that's really wrong. So these scams have been happening. If you open your social media, a lot of people are doing Korean treatments. One time Korean treatment and forever white skin. And with Indians, what the problem is, you hear the name skin whitening and everyone runs behind it. So that's a very easy selling technique for that.
It's very sad.
It's very sad.
Also, because we were talking about like gut and the skin, I want to know, what should we really eat for good skin?
Okay, starting from the morning, first thing, have your detox water. Okay. What is detox water? This is my tried and tested recipe for detox water. Okay, so overnight have a bottle of water and soak some chia seeds, some mint leaves, a slice of lemon. Okay, and if you like some other seeds, 2-3 throw in, like pumpkin or sunflower, you can just throw it in. Okay, keep that water overnight. Overnight. Okay, and then morning strain all of the ingredients and have that water at least, like finish that in the first 2 hours of waking up.
Okay,
that is something very important. Again, for diet, breakfast should always be heavier. Then when you go to afternoon, again your lunch a little more lesser in terms of concentration of what carbs you are having. Carbs should always be in the afternoon. Okay, then night, the most lightest meal, and have it before 6:30. Okay, if you have it,
that's very difficult for people before
6:30, 7 max. I do not want to say it, but because of our lifestyle, of course, then 7 is something that you should have. Because again, if your gut is not able to process the food, it will create inflammation. You're eating at some odd times, then your munching is also considered in eating. For example, you have your dinner at 7, at 10:30 you can't have anything else in the name of munching. Right? So that is very important. Which meal you are adding what? Protein, carbs, lightest meal in the morning, maybe dal khichdi or something very light, some salad, a combination of healthier greens. That is something that's very important for the diet. Antioxidants, I'll focus as much as we can. Seeds rich fruits. Any fruit that have those small seeds, very good. Rich in antioxidant, you will see the difference.
What are the best fruits for skin?
The best fruit, anything loaded with vitamin C. Vitamin C, you can have your oranges, you can have plums, you can have berries. Berries, very good. Water is not something, okay, people say, have 4 to 5 liters of water, your skin, it does not reach the skin.
Okay.
Your top layer of the skin, that is the stratum corneum. The water does not reach there. It's the external part that we have to do. Water is what, for example, we have melons. Okay, melons has concentrated form of minerals that can again reach to your organs. 3, 4, 5, 6 liters water you have.
Needed.
No, not needed. 4 liters of water, good to go.
But for a lot of people that kind of have like decent skin, right? So many people have like normal skin, not a lot of acne. For them, I want to ask you, like basic products that they should use, because as you said earlier as well, and even I believe it, that you don't need 5-10 step skincare routine.
I love you for that. Let's say 4, because I know a lot of people would like to know about what kind of serums to be used on what condition. I can't say cleanse, moisturize, sunscreen. I think that at this point of time everyone knows.
Yeah.
Again, the basic rule: cleanse morning and evening, have separate cleansers. Okay, if you're not going out and you have not put a lot of skincare, do not cleanse in the morning, just water wash it. Okay. Again, moisturizers, morning gel based, and if you have like extremely dry skin, you can go for heavy for both the times.
Okay.
AM and the PM routine, use the same moisturizer.
Yeah.
Okay, because if I tell you as a doctor, okay, use 10 different products at AM and PM routine, it might be a little daunting to do as well.
Yeah.
Okay, sunscreen, I already told you, that's non-negotiable. I will talk about it till the rest of my life. That's one product that's non-negotiable. Okay, the most important is the target based serums that you can incorporate mostly at the night routine, because that is the time the skin renews itself. So target based serums, if you have texture, go for the basic of the basics is niacinamide. Okay, that is one product that is like this. It does not do a lot to your skin and does not harm your skin. So you're playing safe. A little bit of textural change, as you said, that not having a lot of problems in the skin, that is one thing.
What's texture really like?
Congestion. Yes, congestion, clogged pores, a little bit of pigmentation here and there. Blackheads, whiteheads. So niacinamide, safe bit. Again, if you have hyperpigmentation, it has, so hyperpigmentation is different types of hyperpigmentation. If it's just uneven skin tone, you can go for vitamin C and start with a lower concentration, 5%, 2%, and then go ahead with higher concentrations, because vitamin C is something that can break you out, not suits every skin. So always start with low concentration. That will help brighten up your skin, because it is again an antioxidant.
But for vitamin C, people need to be more aware and not use it unnecessarily.
Not to be used on acne prone skin at all. Okay, so if you are having vitamin C, or your ingredient list says vitamin C, which is ascorbic acid technically, so just check your ingredient list, and if it has, just discard it or use it later when you have no acne. Okay, vitamin C for brightening. Then retinol, I start using around 20s. So again, concentration dependent. Retinols and retinoids are two different things. I'll talk about a very viral brand called Retinal Shots, that yellow in color that people are just using. It's a very potent retinol, not to be used daily. No, it has to be used once a week, or depends on your skin type, what is your concerns, like why you're using it. And if you're using retinol or retinoids, do not forget to cover your neck. Neck is very important. Sometimes we do skincare lather on the products just on the face, and the neck is, and then after 10 years you see your face is really, you know,
the neck is sagging,
neck has lines, it has sagging. So it is because what you did. So the awareness is very important. Coming back to the ingredient list, if you have pigmentation because of acne scars, if you have pigmentation because of sun, these are called sunspots, use ingredients like azelaic acid, alpha-butane, kojic acid. Again, ladies especially, mature skin, onset of melasma, it can happen after the pregnancy. Melasma has a lot of triggers: stress, hormones, genetically passed. As I am also passed, I'm really scared of melasma because my mom has it.
What is that really?
So melasma is a deep-seated hyperpigmentation which starts from your nose, and it's like a butterfly patch that spreads around the nose till your forehead. And a lot of misconceptions are there in the market for melasma. Do lasers, do this, do whatnot, but there is no permanent solution to melasma. Once you get the cause back, you have stress in your life, melasma can get triggered. You use a wrong product, you go out in the sun with extreme heat, no sunscreen works honestly, because you have to reapply, and that is not possible. You know that we can talk about reapplication of sunscreen,
but I think possible. It's not feasible for people to do that.
It is not feasible in day-to-day life. I can't sit and just think about that I have to reapply sunscreen after 2 hours, right? So again, melasma, one treatment that I love is Cosmelan. Hands down, eyes closed, I can prescribe Cosmelan. Hands down, it's a peel that needs a little downtime. So the skin might peel for 10 to 15 days, and then you have to use the Cosmelan 2, which is a cream that will prevent your skin getting back to again what you were. Okay. So this is one treatment that will only work for melasma. So the audience should know that the clinics that are saying, okay, you know, let's do 5 sessions of lasers or let's do some heat based treatment, doesn't work. It might trigger any heat based treatment. One of very big dermatologist has prescribed Morpheus, which is a heat based treatment. I will not test that particular treatment to any of my melasma patients because heat based treatments can always trigger melasma.
You mentioned retinol about once or twice, and the thing about retinol is that there is a lot that is said and done. You know, it can be harmful if not used in the right proportion. People don't know if they should not use it. Why is retinol important? Should we really use it, and what is the proportion?
So again, we'll differentiate between retinol and retinoids. Retinol is a type of retinoid, very mild. You can start with retinol as early as 20s, then increase the concentration. It is not a very important part of your skincare, honestly. In your 20-25s, you can start it after your 25s as well, because I think around that time a lot has to be dealt with the teenage acne, the teenage PIH that you're suffering with. So I don't like mixing a lot of ingredients and, you know, fixing everything all together. So yes, you can postpone the retinoids to 25s. Okay, coming back towards retinoids, because retinoids are the most concentrated form of all the retinols. Okay, so what you can do is, for stubborn acne, nodular acne, yes, I prescribe retinoids as well, but that is not for day-to-day use. People think that, you know, sometimes they use retinoids and then flawless skin, but that is, you are damaging your skin barrier if you're using a retinoid for a prolonged duration of time. And as much as I can say about skin barrier health, people are not understanding at this point of time your skin barrier has a lot to do with aging, so you should always keep it protected. So not use a lot of harsh actives at the same time. Maybe 1 or max 2 active ingredients at the same time. Don't use vitamin C, niacinamide, retinol and everything together.
And what does retinol really help?
Resurfacing. It helps in resurfacing. It helps in collagen production. So basically it's more for a youthful skin later.
Okay, so not now, but for your later days.
Longer approach.
And another very, very prominent big skincare or skin related issue are dark circles.
Because why I'm making this a little bit more informative, because there's a lot going around the dark circles. Okay? Dark circles, hollowness, people come up with, doctor, these are dark circles. Acanthosis is a condition where your skin is thickened. There's no pigmentation. Thickening of the skin, that is dark circle, and it it appears around the lids as well. It's not just under the lids. Okay. Then poor sleep can cause dark circles, which is temporary. If you sleep well,
you won't get it.
You won't get it. Okay, so first let's consider all of these factors. Again, no eye creams can help with dark circle. If you have hollowness, you should consider doing treatments like fillers, or if you don't want to go ahead with anything injectable as far, under eye PDRN, it is not something that is for short term. It is a regenerative therapy. We inject under eye PDRN. It helps the collagen production around that area, improves the blood flow around the area, technically leading to a brighter under eye. Okay, but again, if you're not sleeping well,
nothing works.
Yes, nothing works. And hollowness is not to be targeted with any under eye cream because it's hollow.
So under eye creams don't work for dark circles.
So I'll tell you, I give under eye creams, but for example, as I mentioned, acanthosis, which is a condition where you have to do a little resurfacing. I do reticis peel, which is a little peeling because we need to remove the extra layer of the skin. So retinol based under eye creams are there. People, mature skin who have little fine lines also, under eye creams work because of the collagen production. Okay, but for dark circles, there's no under eye cream.
For a specific condition there is an under. For plain dark circles,
no,
nothing.
You can use a moisturizer that's will work as an under eye cream, but you don't need it as an extra step.
But you mentioned for a specific reason, like particular thing, there is an under eye cream. Can you peel? Okay, so that you need to go to the dermat and do it. No
the
home
reticis
remedies.
peel, no. That you need to go to a dermat, and then you have to see how many sessions are required depending on how worse the condition is, and that is the process of it. But no under eye cream. I am not a person who will tell you, okay,
buy this, buy
buy
that.
this, buy that.
Even about like Botox and fillers, I'm so interested to know about it.
Yeah.
It's kind of a very different world for me and for most people because we often associate celebrities doing that. When celebrities come to you, do you see any kind of insecurities that they are facing, which is why they are coming to you, or it's just a natural, more aesthetic kind of a reason why they are coming?
But now people are mostly coming for just the aesthetics of it.
Aesthetics.
No insecurities today. I think
Ah.
times have changed, and now people are more talking about it. I want to look a certain way, and if I have the means to
Then
do
why
it,
not?
then why not?
Yeah.
For example, I do something for you. You look yourself in the mirror. The doctor, this is doing amazingly well. After a year or so, for example, talk about filler. It dissolves after a year.
Ah.
So after a year, when you go back to what you were, of course you want to do it again. Who does not want to look
Yeah.
a certain way? Of course, for me, it might be different. For you, it's different. I like Botox, you like fillers.
What's the
But
difference
which-
between Botox and filler?
So, Botox is a neuromodulator. It relaxes your muscle. Fillers is something that is made of hyaluronic acid, which is the only good sugar that you can have is under hyaluronic acid fillers. We do it for under eye, as we spoke about hollowness. Under eye fillers is something that we do. Jawline fillers for a more contoured shape, and Botox is something that we spoke. We can do nose reshaping with Botox. We can do a lip flip with Botox to give a little more enhancement to your upper borders of your lips. Then again, crow's feet, very common area to treat early signs of aging. So Botox relaxes your muscle,
Yeah.
and fillers are to fill volume.
Some people look drastically different, and sometimes it's not the good different, right?
To each his own.
Yeah.
You come to me as a patient and ask me, doctor, what do I want to do? I will tell you according to me whatever will look natural. So I'm that person. I don't want to overdo it. So we'll do the facial mapping, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. That's a golden rule in aesthetics for any form of treatment,
Okay.
especially when it goes with fillers. So 1/3 till the forehead, 1/3 here, then 1/3 till the chin.
Acha.
Chin is the most commonly treated area with the fillers because as Indians we have shorter chin.
Oh.
Yeah, so this area is treated the most with the fillers. Okay, so once you do the mapping, the golden rule is done, and I tell you, okay, this is what to be needed. The problem comes when the patient says, okay, doctor, a little more, or when they come up with celebrities who have done
Like references.
yeah, that this is what I want, this is what I want, this, then I have no choice. I want to do what you want. Right? I will tell you that this is right, this is not
right.
supposed to be done. I feel that this is right. No, doctor, this is not what I want. I don't want a natural finish. Some people, not actors, so actors come, they want to not freeze their face with Botox because of course they have to do a lot with expression. So they will tell me, doctor, I only need Botox on the areas where it will not freeze my face. Called a frozen face with Botox. They don't want that because they want the forehead lines for the expressions.
Yeah.
They want the smile to look like a smile. Okay, so like that. But there are a lot of people who say that, no, doctor, I want my Botox to be frozen. I don't want any lines on my face.
Yeah.
Right? So there is a difference with the set of people also. And yes, if you tell me that, doctor, I want to keep it as natural as it is, I'll do my best.
But can Botox or fillers harm your skin in any way?
Here comes that you should choose a right injector for it. You just cannot go to someone who is showing fake before and afters to you, edited before and afters to you. Go for a consultation once. You will get the vibe. You will get who's selling and who's actually, telling you that this is right, this is wrong. When a doctor says no to something, it is for a reason, and a lot of doctors don't. You go to a market, you go to some doctor, they will tell you, okay, do this, we have this, you should try this, which is fine. I think as far as we are in the business, I will tell you what all treatments that I have, what all will suit you. Selling is very different. And you get that. As a patient, people now know a lot than they used to. So you get that.
Correct.
Who's trying to sell you. So there's where the difference comes.
And you've worked with like a lot of celebrities. A lot of celebrities have come to you.
Yes.
Usually what kind of treatments do they come to you for?
Now there's been a shift. Initially it was more to do with Botox and fillers. Now the shift is towards the regenerative medicine. When I say regenerative medicine, it is more to do with collagen.
Okay.
Increasing your own collagen in your skin with a treatment like Morpheus. Morpheus is again a higher version of microneedling, which includes radio frequency as well. So Morpheus skin boosters. I love skin boosters. We can do another podcast on skin boosters. That is one treatment that you do it and you will never complain about it.
They are again
results.
injectables?
It's again injectables, hyaluronic acid. But now a lot of brands have come up with a lot of combination of hyaluronic acid, amino acids. A lot research have been done, and what results? As an injector, when you see some product as good as I do it on you, and 1 week later you come up and then what is this skin? That good. Skin boosters should be there in everyone's list. The most safest injections, not changing your face, just improving your skin, but better.
Who is one person you've had the most fun working with, who's just like very approachable, fun?
Whether you talk about Taha from the days of Hira Mandi, or you talk about Shreya Kalra, who recently did the Society, then I have Sondos. Yeah, she's going for a big show that I can't take the name of, but she's a sweetheart. And again, that's a lot to do with selling and actually treating what you're saying. If they come to me and then they show a reference, I will tell them I'm not doing it. If you want to get it done, go to someone else who's actually doing it. So that's the reason that they trust me now.
For people that face a lot of insecurities, regarding their skin, when there is too much acne, it can be very difficult to showcase your real side to the world. And being a dermat, I'm sure people come to you with insecurities. So what do you have to say for that?
I will just say, do not wait for this conditions to settle, and there is a process to it. This is your skin, and you don't have to give that authority to the world to talk about it. So just feel in your skin. Maybe some days you will have acne. Perfection is not the goal that you should ever think of with the skin. Okay, so you can have acne, you can have dark circles. I face a lot of issues being someone in the field. Right. So overthinking again, and it has a lot to do with the society. Till the time we don't let the society come here, we're all good. If I tell you, if I start the conversation saying, oh my god, how's your skin doing? You've become darker than I saw you last time.
It's sad,
this is sad. This is not how it's supposed to be. And now that you know that you're living in this world, just let them off here. They're not supposed to be here.
And I think we really can't compare our normal skin to like a celebrity's face.
No, please don't do that. It has, as I spoke, it has a lot to do with the lighting. It has a lot to do with the editing. I am seeing them, a lot of my clients, they talk about it also. And I'm so happy. Initially, all of these people used to tell, okay, oh my god, this is my skin, this is all natural, I've never done this or that. And now they're actually talking about this. No, Dr. Reba, if someone asks me, I tell them that, okay, I've done this, I've done that. So the awareness is important. If I tell you I have done certain things, you know that this is normal. If I tell you this is my skin, you will set an unrealistic standard that, oh my god, if her skin is like this, why is mine
not looking like that? Thank you so much for coming. This was a lovely conversation.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. Got to know everything about skin, and I'm sure the audience did too. So
I hope so too.
Yes.